Now, dear colleagues, I wish good morning to everyone, and I hope that we have some guests from the Arabic countries. So I hope that today's event that we have today, it's going to be very useful and helpful for the Russian companies, for our partners, and for our guests from other countries that we have today and who are participating today in this event. Today, we have gathered together the representatives from different regions. We have very highly esteemed guests from the United Arab Emirates, from Turkey, from Egypt. And I would like to say right away that considering that there is a large number of speakers today, please, dear speakers, adhere to the agenda that we have provided to you, that we have shared with you from the very beginning. If somebody does not fit into the timing, then I apologize, but I will have to tell you, I will have to tell the speakers so that everybody has their share in the agenda to speak, and so that the interest is kept high during the whole event, and so that we have also time for questions and answers at the end of the presentations, at the end of the speeches, so that all the participants get all necessary information. I would also like to remind you that you can select a language depending on the system that you are using. So for that purpose, you can choose a channel. For example, in Mac computer, it's a lower left corner, and also all the questions that you have gathered, that you have during the event, you can write them in the chat. And our speakers after the event, if you have more questions, that you place in the chat, if our speakers do not fit into the agenda, if they do not have enough time to answer all the questions, I'm sure that our organizers will be able to answer these questions or organize the answering these questions after the event. So please send all your questions to the chat. The speakers will try to answer them during the speeches, during the presentations, or after the event. So today's event we're dedicating to the opportunities for Russian producers in Middle Orient countries. So I'm thankful to all our organizers and Russian Export Center, and I would like to provide the floor to our highly esteemed Mr. Sergei Vologodsky, who is a vice president of the Russian Export Center. So, Mr. Sergei, the floor is yours. Alexei, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, dear colleagues, and good day. Good day, dear participants of today's conference. I'm happy to see you on this online conference, which is organized by the Russian Export Center together with our partners. And thanks a lot to the Russian representations in Turkey and the UAE, who are also today at this event participating with us. And I would like to say that the major partners in this region, in the Middle East, in the sphere of the agribusiness are Business, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, which occupy the largest share of all the agribusiness exports. And the key export categories are wheat, barley, sunflower seed, etc., etc. So in general, in recent years, the Russian export to the Middle East countries, they demonstrate stable growth. If in 2016 the volume of export from Russia into this macro region was around $14.5 billion, then in last year it was around $18 billion. So the export of the agribusiness in 2016 was $4.4 billion, and in the last year it was $8.1 billion. So we can see that export has grown in fact by 2 times. So these exports are provided in different spheres, and different financial tools are provided for this export. And we also implement different tools and instruments to support international cooperation in the export. And we are ready to adapt our products to the needs and demands of our exporters. And assistance to the development of export in the agribusiness in AIC agro-industrial complex is one of our priorities. And as for the volume of the export, which was supported by the export center, last year it has grown by 1.5 times from and constituted 4.2 billion US dollars. And the supported exporters number has outgrown to 200 companies, and the Russian Export Center is an agent of the government in a number of programs that are also in high demand around our exporters, and they have a very positive feedback. And we are working on increasing the number of companies who are present and providing their products for tasting in different pavilions. So just yesterday, we conducted a special event with Bahrain. Alexei, thank you for organizing this event. And we spoke about the infrastructure that we're providing to our exporters. Our pavilions abroad are currently located in 3 different locations, such as Shanghai, Ho Chi Minh, and Dubai. And just recently, we signed an agreement, and in September of this year, we're going to open the 4th pavilion, which is going to be in Cairo. And it's going to be located in Cairo. And today's conference, we have a general director of the company who is going to be the operator of this program. He's going to tell us about the Egyptian market, and more than 100 of companies, they placed their products in the pavilions, and the number of SKUs or the trade units is more than 600. They include large companies such as Cherkizova, Miratorg, etc., including small and medium businesses. Among the participants of our business mission in the UAE pavilion, we have products of such companies as confectionaries of Morozovo, Altai, Sort, and Pironi, various companies. And within the 2020, the amount of contracts has outgrown 8 million rubles. So, dear colleagues, dear exporters, please pay special attention to the infrastructure of the pavilion that is available to us. And we are happy to provide our assistance in location of your products in different pavilions. As I said, in 4 countries. In Egypt, you can already place your applications. And we are actively working for organizing international exhibitions and business missions in the format of online that we conduct during this month, including also offline missions. And the epidemiological situation has made this type of adjustments, including international exhibitions. This year, we participated in a large exhibition in Dubai, which is called Gulf Food. We also participated in Seattle, which was taking place in China in such a hybrid format, and we are intending to participate actively and organize collective national stands in other exhibitions. And we are going to monitor the epidemiological situation that is happening around us. And it's a pleasure that a number of companies that participated in Gulf Food this year are also going to participate in our business mission. So therefore, they continue working stably with international buyers in order to sign contracts with Emax, Dareira, Cherkizovo, Trade House, etc. So I wish you promotion in these activities, and we are ready to provide our assistance. This conference is organized within the business mission, such as producers of the Middle East countries. It'll continue during 1 month. And the 25 promising producers of the agribusiness are providing a wide range of different products. This geography is quite wide, including the central part of our country, including Siberia, Urals, and other regions of our country. So therefore, I'm sure that foreign buyers will be able to find the products that is really in high demand in these countries. The task of today's conference is to, with the help of the Russian exporters, to know better the conditions for conducting business with foreign contractors and buyers. So this is the first step that the company is going to receive in receiving information. Therefore, during this conference, we will also have speeches of the trade representatives from UAE, Turkey, operators of different pavilions in Dubai, in new pavilion of Cairo, and leading international and local experts in the sphere of promotion of the food products. Now, dear colleagues, I wish you all successful conference, a successful business mission. And during this business mission and bilateral meetings during the business matching event, I wish you fruitful work. And I hope that there will be good results and new discoveries of prospects in mutual cooperation. Thanks a lot. Sergey Alexandrovich, thanks a lot for your intervention, for your speech. I would like to start our first block of the first block, which is going to be dedicated to the United Arab Emirates. This is a pleasure to me because Emirates is my second homeland. I'm living here for many years, and I would like to say to all the participants that today, on the 1st of June, there was a historical event, which is revolutionary from the point of view of opportunities for foreign and Russian companies. From today, it'll be allowed to all foreign countries to get registered, to register their own companies without the participation of the partners, local partners, especially, which is especially important for trade companies. So I'm informing you on that, if somebody didn't know about that. And next is I would like to provide the floor to our highly respected representatives of the Russian Federation, to Mr. Melikan Ara Melikan, a person who knows everything that is happening inside our environment. So he's an expert, and I'm inviting you to listen to him with attention. Now, good morning. Can you hear what I'm saying? So today it was already said that the environment is getting more and more positive, and I can see from the composition of the participants, we will speak more about the positivism. Therefore, I would like to focus on problems rather than positive things. And I would like to start not with a traditional format of positive things, but to speak about the major barriers that exist in the promotion of Russian products in the market of the Emirates, and to speak about some specific case. So here's a very specific case in front of me. I have a letter from the company, which is called the Trade House. With this company, we have been working for 2 years, working not only us, but also it's a Russian product house in Dubai who's working with them, a group of support for export of the Russian Export Center, representatives of the international commerce in Dubai. And so here's what they have written as a result of a few years of work together. They wrote in this letter that they spoke to a number of different distribution companies, and they spoke with their proposal on honey to practically all large retail companies of Emirates, such as Carrefour, Union Coop, Lulu, electronic platforms, etc. Other companies, so retail companies, they didn't receive any answer. As a result, so they started doing it in a second cycle again, and after 2 years have come back to the commercial representatives, the trade representatives. So we don't see Russian honey in local retail markets, although it is possible that many may object by saying that there is a honey from Bashkortostan, which is sold over internet, but these are very small volumes, extremely small volumes of honey. The honey house is not able to increase the number of the quantity of honey to be sold. So what is the causes uh, of why we do not see the products of the honey house and many other sub sectors of the food sector in Russia, the shelves of Emirates? So what is the causes of that we don't see these products? The major reasons or causes is that they lie in the Emirate trade legislation that today's highly esteemed moderator has mentioned today that from the 1st of June that has changed, but before the 1st of June this legislation was active, so was valid. So we will see how it's going to change in the future even more. So up to now, up to today, these trade retail markets, they never bought these products, but they took it from the leading distributors. The leading distributors, these are the companies, local companies who work for many, many years, and they are bound with the obligations such as trade agency agreements. So they're together with the suppliers, with the Western suppliers. And these agreements, they impose obligations on conflict of interests avoidance. So if there is some leading distribution company who is who has an agreement on sales of honey with, say, English company, then in order to avoid the conflict of interest, it's not going to take honey from other countries or from the honey trade house. Another important barrier is so-called the listing fees. This is to say the fees that in order to get into the listing of the retail shops. This is a very known phenomenon to the Russian producers of the products of the food, because it is also used in Russia, the listing fees, although this is legal, I think. But in Emirates, it's quite a legal form of working. They have special tariffs in order to get into the listing. So the listing fees are published openly, and the Russian producers, they mostly are not ready to to cover these costs, high costs. Another barrier is the payment, delayed payment. So a lot of Russian producers, they send us a proposal requiring us to ensure the sales of their goods, which are based on advanced payments rather than payment by installments, deferred payments, which is opposite to the form which is accepted in here, such as deferred payment, payments by installments. And this fourth very important barrier, it's absence of logistics, no logistics. So this is another barrier. A specialist in the retail trade, they know very well that it is very important to have a stable and guaranteed supply of goods that are in high demand. And when there is when some good is absent on the shelves, this is considered an extreme case, an urgent case, a case of urgency. So therefore, they set up the excuses for not providing the goods on the shelf. So for the goods to come regularly, therefore, the country needs to have some stock of the goods. In order to have the stock of the goods, it needs they need to have warehouses, the stock premises. It means that there should be a system of the supply with in small lots to from the stock houses, from the warehouses to the retail shops. And the fifth barrier is certification. This is a separate issue. As far as I understand, Alexei has already will speak about it. We'll speak about the certification. So here we don't have good clarity, especially with respect to the halal certification. So this is the thing that we need to work on, and the Ministry of Agriculture is working on that actively. But nonetheless, the existing procedures I hope will be described by Alexei in full details. So I will not focus on that anymore. I'll speak about the proposal that the trade representation has provided in order to overcome the barriers that I have just mentioned. We are proposing to the Ministry of Agriculture of Russia and to the Russian Export Center to create a wholesale distribution center in the free zone. As an example, we proposed that to organize a free zone in Kesat in Abu Dhabi. So this is a wholesale distribution zone or center. It should be, according to our idea, it should perform several tasks. It should provide warehousing for distribution of goods. It should also be provided. It should also provide payments in installments with the possibility to provide deferred payments. And the third thing, it should provide payments for the registration in order to get on the shelves on the shops, like listing fees. So all these forms are foreseen as possible the forms of assistance or financial assistance for the export from the Russian Export Center, and lots of money has been allocated from the government to that. So these functions could be performed only by the branch, a big branch of the big state federal company in the sphere of food. We have two of such companies, which is OZK. This is the grain company and agro export company. So we propose to unite, to join the centers for the goods produced that should be kept in refrigerators, and propose to make a special grain hub so that the distribution company could only be dealing with refrigerators and elevators. So there were some agreements made together with the Russian grain company in order to create maybe its own elevator of this company, elevator for grain. Or maybe they could lease a special elevator that could be built by by this free zone, and it could lease it out to rent it out. So as a result of such a lengthy correspondence, OZK has rejected this idea. This grain company has rejected this idea. I think that these are unreasonable rejection. Currently, it is under the consideration by agro export. I really apologize. Just we need to provide the time to everybody who is going to speak. So my time is up, isn't it? Yes, a few times, a few minutes ago. So this is the last phrase, and that's it. In order to finish my idea, I should say that creation of the wholesale distribution center will also be. We also thought about uh, receiving the retail rights for selling the Russian goods for the companies such as Ancona or Russian product house, food house, which would enable us to resolve the issue of impossibility of the presence of the serious distributors, of the big distributors. It's not possible to find these distributors. You can see it in the example of this honey house. Well, there are some exceptions that people can say that we have Greenfield through the Land of Fire, who was able to pay $150,000 in order to get on the shelves of Carrefour. But not all Russian companies is ready to pay even 10,000 US dollars, let alone $150,000. That's it. So I had some questions which I could answer right now, or we could, or as the moderator decides, we can answer them later. Well, I'm proposing so that all the speakers could speak. I'm proposing to put all the questions onto the Q&A session, and therefore all the colleagues and all the speakers who are going to speak, I'm asking you please fit in the agenda. Otherwise, the speakers in the second and third part will not have enough time to speak.
Thank you very much. You went into the essence and you outlined two main blocks of questions. First, everything related to the manufacturing, and I fully agree with you that we have three main challenges related to the manufacturing. First, it's related to certification, obtaining necessary licenses, permits, This is absolutely correct. Everything related to the financing model, because we have very different cultures in Russia and Emirates. They have their own payment system, which may differ from conditions which we are used to. Of course, this should be considered. And another very important block of questions which arose is questions related to distribution. You need to select distributors very carefully with great attention. It's the most important issue. Usually on the exhibitions, you have a lot of different distributors. They tell a lot of stories about themselves. And Russian companies tend to negotiate with the Russian-speaking distributors, but you need to consider the fact that local English-speaking distributors may be more efficient than Russian distributors. So this is a very serious subject, how to choose your distributor. I'm going to present my presentation, and
так сказать, экскурс.
I will give you a short brief of Emirate market and the possibilities that it opens for us.
Так, коллеги, видно, да? Кратко пройдусь для того, чтобы те компании, которые...
So you can see that there are some companies that doesn't know what are Emirates. Emirates are the main entrance to the Bay countries, to GCC countries and to MENA countries. They have huge potential. GCC countries and have one of the largest GDP per capita, $3.6 trillion, and that's why this region is so important for us. So, and it is a gateway to the neighboring countries. Here you can see the information which was shared with us by our partners from Dubai. They're showing statistics by food products. You can see the Russian share here in import and the opportunities that we have, starting from chicken, going to grains, snacks, beans, and so on. So if you want, you can request this presentation and we can send it to you. Here you can see the export of the food products from Russia to Emirates over the last 9 years before COVID. Main categories are listed here. You can see the percentage of these categories. Mostly, of course, these are grains and cereals, but the trends are very good and everything related to the healthy food is also growing. Here you can see the growth over the first half a year of 2020 comparing to 2019. You can see the growth is quite significant. I can say that during COVID, we didn't stop our activities and we are conducting many online events. We, as a pavilion operator, would try to utilize this time when everybody was at home and couldn't go to offices. We tried to utilize this time to conduct several online meetings, online events. As Sergey mentioned, yesterday we had an event on Bahrain, and in the beginning of June we'll have one global event with Saudi Arabia, and it will be about Russian-Saudi partnership. We'll have larger exporters and importers on this meeting. Here is an outline on the Russian-Emirate cooperation. Of course, the political movements which you have right now, the political cooperation between Russia and Emirate, Russia and other countries of the Bay is important. Maybe you've heard that the Qatar leader will be celebrating his birthday in a couple of days, and he will be in St. Petersburg. So this is a historical event for us. why Emirates were chosen as a gateway. You can see it here. First of all, due to geographical and logistical aspects. They have a transport infrastructure, they have airports, they have ports, they have one of the most developed infrastructure in the world, which allows businesses to operate transparently. And it is very interesting for Russian companies. Their currency is tied with the American dollar from 1960s. They have also very good tax system. They have only 5% VAT. They have indirect taxes, of course, but they are not that large. So they don't have income tax, they don't have a personal tax, and people have a lot of money there. And we have a Russian pavilion in this country, and where Russian Ministry of Agriculture is represented there. So we have a platform where one can search for opportunities. We provide communication there with local and neighboring countries. Main challenges are, of course, language. Of course, many Russian companies have English-speaking employees, and for Emirates, English is a primary language. Almost 90% of people living in Emirates are foreigners, so English language is a priority here. And in trade and commerce, management is mostly from India and Bangladesh, and they speak mostly English. Here we also listed one of the major mistakes which many people face: lack of licenses, lack of certificates, the difference in culture, in values. Of course, I can say that many aspects, in many aspects, we're closer to Arabic countries, closer than to European countries. And of course, the expectations sometimes are too high. I want to mention a Russian food house. We really would like you to participate in this initiative. I know that we have a lot of participants there already. This food house allows you to place your products here to help you in finding customers, regardless of your actual category. We work with distributors, with manufacturers, with HoReCa segment. If you want to exhibit there, you just need to contact us or to contact this pavilion directly. And here, for example, you can see our demonstration hall, some categories of products which you have here. Many of them are already supplied to Emirates. A little bit about our company. We are operating the Russian food house. We work for more than 10 years. I'm working in Emirates for more than 18 years, so I feel quite integrated into this company. I have lots of connection with government and business structures here. We have office in Russia and Emirates, so you can ask us any questions related to our Russian food house in Emirates. We'll be happy to help. Here we have a list of services we provide, everything related to negotiations, to visits and everything. Thank you very much for your attention. I would like to say that if you have any questions related to Emirate market and market of neighboring countries, Saudi Arabia and Emirates, Bahrain and Oman, maybe also Qatar and Kuwait. We work with them, but not so much. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions. We'll be happy to help you in all relation. So please contact our food pavilion, and we'll be very happy to help you to open this market for you. I would like to invite our next speaker, and I also want to answer a few questions. So first of all, about certification. We have a lot of questions regarding main certificates in Emirates. So first of all, you need to point attention to halal certificate. It is needed only for the meat products or to the products which is related to animals or which may have alcohol. Nothing else needs a halal certificate. For example, energy drinks need a halal, but not all distributors require halal certificate. So we need just to have this certificate to certify that there is no alcohol in this energy drink. There is also a certificate of energy Emirates Equality Mart, which is obligatory for the companies which want to supply beverages or juice or milk products. There is ICAS certificate. It is for the products like honey, or if your product is organic, then you need to have organic certificate. As far as I know, we can't issue an organic certificate for Russian company, unfortunately. We have also a certificate for some seafood certificates, for example, for caviar. Caviar, it is halal. We don't need a halal certificate for the seafood. About the notifying body, then halal certificate currently can be issued by only one company in Russia, which is accredited. Before we had 3 companies like that, but now, if I'm not mistaken, we have only one company which can issue halal certificate. As for registration, if we are not talking about certificate, we should talk also about trademark registrations. But our next speaker will tell more about registration of the products in municipal bodies. I will not take your attention more on this subject. If we'll have more time, then of course I will answer any questions which you will have. I would like to give floor to our next speaker, Mr. Vitaly Seba, who is a director and founder of Vitaly Trading Company, which is working in Emirates. Vitaly, the floor is yours.
Добрый день.
Good morning, dear colleagues. I hope you can hear me well. Yes, we can. Thank you very much for inviting me on this conference. And I would like to talk here about import. We have experience in promoting food and beverages, and whatever I'm going to tell will be related only to the food and beverage. We can see the efforts of the Russian Export Center on promoting Russian products in Emirates. We visited the Russian food house plenty of times, and we work with companies which work there. 2 years ago, we entered into a contract with a couple of companies there. I know that you have a showroom there, and it's very helpful. Today, I was asked, what is best one distributor in Emirates and how to find them? I think that you can find agent or distributor, or the distributor can be an agent for you, which can provide the whole scope of services from custom to retail. We have, of course, a separate consulting company which provide marketing services like participating on the exhibition, advising on custom services, on logistics, organizing meetings with the potential customers. We have a lot of consulting services like that, but those that can actually help you with selling your product and promoting it in the retail, in the HoReCa, in other distribution chains, we don't have. Exporters, as mentioned here before, are searching for distributors by themselves. They face a lot of challenges, but they still, it is difficult to promote your own products by yourself due to many reasons, such as strong competition in Emirates. We have, of course, products here from Asia, from Eastern Asia, from Middle East, from Europe, from USA, and they are consumed by the immigrants from their respective countries. And as you know, we have a lot of expats in Emirates. So they have their own likes and not likes, and As for the countries from Russia and the CIS, they are quite new for the Emirates. From basically they appeared in 2015 when it became very profitable to export things to Emirates due to the rate of Russian ruble, and mostly Russian products are presented for tourists in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, where else you have some Russians, but in a larger country, of course, you have much less sales because, first of all, because Russians change design, they do not want to change to pay for marketing. So the problem is a promotion of the products, that cannot be recognized by the suppliers. And if you're talking about test sales, then it's best to contact large chains with a lot of turnover. For example, Lulu, Cherita, and Choidro, and some other. And the second reason that local distributors do not want to risk and to promote the product by themselves, because it is associated with a lot of costs on every step, starting from registration in distribution chain to first sales and conclusions on the profitability of this or that product.
Третье, мне кажется, это
A third challenge is, as mentioned, the mentality of managers, which are Indians, Arabians, maybe from Middle East, and not always they are from Emirates. Mostly they are from Syria, from Jordan. You can work with them. Nevertheless, for people who see them first time, who make a first presentation, it's very difficult because there is no much feedback, there is no dialogue. The third challenge is you need to find a modern product which will be attractive to various types of consumers by their price, by their property, for local distributors, for global distributors. So it is difficult to promote your product outside specific chains. I think that we need a company, maybe founded in Russia, which can give you feedback about Emirates market. They can help you and provide the full scope of services, which is registered in the municipal bodies, which have experience in drawing up documents, which know how to get the permissions to sell in Emirates, with an experienced broker and with logistics, which has good relations with the larger chains, which have direct contracts with managers, who have good relations with different managers, which are working with them for over 5 years. We are working in Russia almost for 10 years in Emirates, and one of the conclusions which we made is that maybe good relations with the managers are very important. So we are working with hotels, with buyers in the hotels, and we also have good relations with them. And good relations with them are very important. The buyers in the hotels, our company has a warehouse, we have a GPS control for logistics, we have trading employees, and we have a lot of opportunities to repack your product locally. So I think it is very beneficial for you to work with us. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Our company has 2 licenses, local in Dubai and production in another city. We have a direct contract with a main chain, such as Perifor and Lulu. We work with 3 main chains. We have who has a lot of selling points in gas station, we have a contract with a chain which has shops and metros and supermarkets in the best regions of Dubai. We have full coverage in all 7 Emirates, and we work with more than 1,200 retail points. We are members of professional organizations of Dubai, which allows us to have a direct contact with such hotels as Radisson and other hotels in the Bay countries. Before pandemic, we were conducting lots of presentations and we were supplying our product to hotels. And now, of course, the situation is a bit different. We are not selling too much to hotels. Nevertheless, it is all possible. We can discuss it. We can move on and move in this direction. Thank you very much for this. I think that's all. And we also been visiting the Russian food house a few times. We visited your showrooms, and we would like to meet you more. And we would like to meet all of you. Thank you very much for this conference, for invitation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vitaly.
Спикеров постараться укладываться в регламент, иначе мы просто не успеем.
This is the request to the speakers. Please fit in the timing, because otherwise we will not be able to fit in the agenda. Once again, thanks a lot to the speakers from the Emirates. We are now passing to the second block of our questions of presentations to our neighbors and dear colleagues from Turkey. The second block is dedicated to the peculiarities of businesses in Turkey. And I would like to provide the floor to the trade representatives of the Russian Federation in Turkey, Mr. Agar Yupovich, Mr. Aydar Ayupovich Gashigullin. Now, good day, dear colleagues. So we are happy to see you, to meet you from Ankara, from Istanbul. Today we have very high representatives of different participants, which enable us to analyze the potential of the Russian producers of the agribusiness, agri-industrial business, and to know how you can do business in Turkey. A year ago, during exactly these days, we organized a joint event, a business mission of the Russian startups in agribusiness in Turkey, where we where we gathered more than 70 companies, and the results were very good results. As for the Turkey, the cooperation with us are characterized by long-term interaction and cooperation, and we have large volumes of trade. Russia continues to be, for Turkey, one of the major external trade partners. And Turkey takes around 10% of the export from Russia. So this is a big number from Russia. At the same time, in 2020, the volume of trade for agricultural products, for raw materials, has grown by 24%. The major goods or products, if you take them by values, by costs, in the export of Russia, they are mostly such raw materials, raw goods such as wheat, sunflower seeds, maize, corn, and according to our Ministry of Agriculture, the potential to increase the supply of agricultural products from Russia to Turkey by 2030 is estimated at the level of 35%, up to 4.2 billion US dollars. The key products or the drivers of the growth are going to become the cereals, and a great potential is various grains and beans, in particular different dry grains and the beans, and these products are in high demand in our market, but the share of the products imported from Russia is not very high, and the average share of in all the Russian products among the cereals and beans is not more than 7%. So it means that in spite of the some domestic highly developed competitive market of food, there is a growth of food import from Russia. Among the final products that are imported to Turkey, I would like to note the growth of the population in Turkey, which by 2030, by 2040, it will be the population will grow considerably. And I would also like to note the growth of the young population who are adhering to the concept of the healthy food. And in recent years, there is a very high demand for the different dry products, different snacks, which also include in among their ingredients such as beans, etc. And a high awareness of the usefulness for the health of beans and various proteins is also increasing the demand. There are more retail networks or chains who are proposing this type of products, and especially for the premium class. I should also note there is a high demand for the Russian products among Russian citizens who are around 500,000 people all the time in Turkey. And they are located in, especially in one of the 11 Turkish provinces. The competitiveness of the Russian exports in the Turkish market, one thing should be pointed out is that Turkey has signed a number of agreements with the European countries, and the custom fees with most of these countries are zero. And this creates some difficulties for the Russian exporters. But as the success stories demonstrate us, is that a wide range of the successful producers from Russia who came to the Russian markets are competing in this very hard platform, in this very hard market, and it is possible to compete without any problem. And also there are certain procedures such as veterinary controls and certification that are provided by the Ministry of Agriculture of Turkey. And in spite of the existing obstacles, the Turkish market for Russia is one of the priority markets, and it has a great potential. Unraveling the potential, it contributes to the cooperation with all the participants, such as us, the trade representation, commercial representation in Turkey, and the Russian and the Turkish representations in Russia. So very soon, the growth of our teams will also contribute to the improvement in agricultural trade. On our side, we express our readiness to work individually with each company and to provide our assistance in the search of potential partners and organize the negotiations. Thank you for your attention. Thanks a lot, Aidar Yupovich. I would like to provide the floor to our next speaker, who is working in Turkey, İlkay Kuşoglu, who is the head of the department for import of the product of the company Kozagida. Now, Mr. İlkay, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well first?
Yes.
Okay. I want to start with thanking to Russian Export Center who brings us together here today. And I prepared a small presentation about the details of importing products to Turkey. And here it is. And I also will mention about the structure of retail food service and online business here in Turkey. Yes, starting with the import requirements, the potential traders must know that, first of all, Turkey is a non-GMO country and they have zero tolerance for the GMO contamination. So this is one of the main struggles when we are trying to import a product to Turkish market. And also, Turkey has some special regulations like microbiological labeling. The products should fit into these regulations for importation. And also, when we talk about the additives, ingredients, contaminants, pesticides, they are similar with European markets. So these are some more easier parts. And when we talk about the documentation and procedures, we can consider products into two categories. One of them is plant-based products. The other one is animal-based products. For plant-based products, it's a bit easier, but pre-application is required for both of them. And for animal-based products, veterinary border checks is mandatory. When you import a product, you need to present some health certificate or free sale certificate from the approved competent authorities in Russia. When the products arrive to Turkey, they are under checks, of course, and one of them is physical checks, and the other one is chemical and microbiological checks. Physical checks like for labels and the other things, etc., documentation, and chemical and microbiological checks are the things I mentioned in the before slides. And the important thing is, if the results do not fit, you cannot enter the product to Turkish borders. If they are rejected, they are either be demolished or sent back to origin or sent to a third country. And also about the tax, Turkey performs some analysis to determine the tax code, and they may differ from the exporter company. So the other things about halal alcohol and pork and derivatives. In Turkey, halal certification is not mandatory, but it is like a bonus for the market if you have halal certification. For the alcohol content and pork derivatives, you can import products with these ingredients, but you have to label them contains alcohol or pork. And also about some specific products like organic. If a product has organic certification in Russia, you have to get a certificate in Turkey again. And some animal content products like meat and poultry, these are only allowed under special conditions and terms. Turkish government first needs to approve the facilities, producers, and slaughterhouse to get these products. And this is the struggles with the importation. I will continue with sales channels. These are the main retailers in Turkey: Migros, Makro Center, Metro, File, Carrefour, Italy, and Rossmann. They have always chains, and they have wide portfolio. They also have a positive attitude for imported goods. They have many number of stores, but they are higher in margins. They are margins different between 45% to 55%. And this makes them difficult to work. And they have some shelf life policy. They don't accept the goods less than 2 of 3 shelf life. And if the product shelf life expires on the shelf, they have unconditionally return policy. They have shelf fees for first entrings. And there are high operational costs working with these retailers. Moving with the hard discounters, BİM, A101, and Şok are the 3 main hard discounters in Turkey. They are more work with basic needs focus, with more local brands, but with changing with the pandemic, they are also now open to imported goods, and especially like deal days with the limited stock, you can enter product to these markets here. The most important thing is they have more than 9,000 stores in Turkey wide, and they have their own distribution channels. So when you sell the product to these partners, then they make their own distribution. You don't have to think about the distribution. And about the online business. Trendyol, hepsi burada, Getir, Yemek Sepeti, Bana Bir. These are the main online apps, let's say, in Turkey, and you can enter these markets with opening an online marketplace on these categories, and they are improving the portfolio. The apps like Getir and Bana Bir, they just deliver your products in 10 minutes. They have such a concept, so it's a very there is very opportunity here to be on the markets, and they are extending our portfolio day by day. But it's more difficult with frozen foods. It's easier with the dry foods. And the food service area, the key for a food service is working with the chains like chain hotels, chain restaurants, chain dining place, and chain cafes. If you can select a product fits to these markets, then you can achieve higher consumption volumes. And for my last slide, I want to continue with the latest food trends in Turkey. As Koza Gıda, we generally import final product or semi-finished product. So I make this trend with slide based on our area. And clean labels, healthy foods in trending in all retailers. Also, with the changing pandemic and habitats, people tend to make their own cooking. That's why quick cooking versions of all world taste is now available in Turkish market, and it's growing. Also, room service and proportion products are now trending. Vegan food, there are more than 12,000 vegans in Turkey, also more flexitarian people. So vegan food is also trending in Turkey. Everything with the truffles, sepia ink, Chinese and Thai meals, these are trending in Turkey. And Turkish people are very open to new tastes in taste of sauces, I think, because that's why various sauces are now it's an open market for Turkey that this can growing. We can say that this is a growing market in Turkey. And thank you for your listening. Do you have any questions for me?
Илкай, большое спасибо, очень интересно.
No, thanks a lot. That was a very interesting presentation. It was a very practical one, and I'm sure that our Russian companies will be very helpful. As for the questions, I'm proposing to put it at the end of this session so that we have time for other speakers. Once again, Guy, thanks a lot to you. We will. So we continue with other participants.
And our next speakers will be talking about doing business in Egypt. And the first speaker, the floor is yours. It is Dmitry Prokhorenko, Director of Foreign Chain Development of Russian Export Center. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Alexei. I am very happy to see you all here. Thank you for organizing this event. Of course, it is very interesting. First, I would like to say that I would like to talk today not only about Egypt, but about our foreign chain of Russian Export Center and about our interest on the Middle East. Middle East is a very interesting region, And we have quite a lot of projects in the Middle East. We are happy that our representation in Turkey started to work last year, and together with trade representatives, we achieved a lot in Turkey over the last year. The results are very impressive, and we're talking mostly about agricultural products, about oil and fat products, which are very much in demand in this region, and we are promoting it actively outside Russia. This year, in 2021, we are opening our branch in Emirates. So we acknowledge the importance of this region for us. As Sergei Volgodsky mentioned earlier, we are opening a showroom for agricultural products in Egypt, in Cairo. We are finishing the preparatory works. Our foreign chain is looking closely on Egyptian market. We are thinking about extending our operations to Egypt. However, if we talking about Egypt, it is of course very important region for Russia, and Russian Expert Center, together with Ministry of Industry of Russia, are implementing one project in Egypt where we create a Russian economic area. The Egyptian government is going to give 100 hectares to this project near Eastern Said port for us to start the construction. And we, together with our Egyptian partners, are working on various preferences for Russian residents of the area where they can implement their localization projects, production projects, agricultural products, and we are working closely with EFKA company, which is one of the leaders of the market. As for international chain in general, we can see that there are challenges, and in 2021 we changed our processes quite significantly. We started to work on searching the demand inside the country to satisfy it as fast as possible using with the help of Russian companies, and we are working in this direction actively with our partners all over the world. We have a partner network which is growing rapidly. We are ready to cooperate with strong partners. We're ready to support them in promoting Russian products abroad. Today we've heard a lot about some specifics which is needed to be acknowledged in the specific regions, and we need to collect this information from you. Alexei mentioned a lot of interesting, Alexei organized a lot of business missions together with us related to the pharma industry. Last year, we've got a lot of information from our trade representatives, from our partners. We always share this information with our exporters, and it helps them to conclude their contracts faster, because when we know about demand inside the country, it is easier to satisfy it with our quality products. It is easier than trying to find a buyer for a specific product. I also would like to mention about another tool which was not mentioned earlier. Our colleagues mentioned about different tools of Russian Expert Center, but we have also so-called expert school. There are specific requirements inside different countries, and sometimes the exporters, which are only trying to export their products for the first time, they don't know much about regulations inside specific countries. They don't know how to proceed with export documents, how to work with currency control, how to draw a contract, and we recommend contacting our school because they are those exporters which want to start to work and can learn a lot. Our school project is developing. We have a lot of online courses, which I'm sure will be very helpful for the beginners. You'll find there a lot of new information, and you will, with these courses, you will avoid many mistakes. If you have any questions, I will answer them later, and now I can give the floor to the next speaker. Dmitry, thank you very much. Next speaker will be director of the new operator of the new pavilion in Egypt, Mr. Bassan. Mr. Bassan, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Alexei. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bassan. I'm the director of the company E8 Project Service. Recently, we have conducted an agreement with the Russian Export Center regarding the pavilion in Egypt. And Egypt is one of the largest market in the Middle East, and it's open market for the product, and the competition is quite challenging. But the opportunity is very big for the Russian producers. As we agreed before, there is a ways to penetrate the market in the Egypt, and this is mainly very important to start with the market research that we are working with the several products that we will receive it from the export center and the producers, the Russian producers. And there is a point that we are working with it, as we are providing the service in the legal consultancies, and there is a part of the certification which is very important to work with it with all the producers. And we will give all the support for it for all the producers is coming from Russia. And as well as the logistic part is not quite difficult between Russia and Egypt, as there is already between Russia and Egypt from the last year. It's more in industrial field if we're talking about between Russia and Egypt, like the steel and iron, as our company as well as part from it. So we are familiar with the Russian producers, as well as also we, as an E8, we are working now closely with one of the big companies in the processed food in Russia, and we are working on the process to penetrate the market together through our stuff, like for example, if we're giving example like Frutinania, we're working with it. As well in the industrial field, we are working with the Russian producers with big names like Paros Electro and all of that. As the agriculture, there is a
Коллеги наши, уважаемые
Dear
гости,
colleagues, dear guests, I apologize for the small technical issue that we had. I would like to give a floor to our previous speaker. He can finish his speech. Mr. Bassem, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Continue.
Alexi. It's okay. It can happen. So last a few points. Just to break it the presentation, the sequence
коллеги
for
наши,
it.
уважаемые
So as I
Yes,
said
yes.
previously, in the Egyptian market as well, there is
Apologize for the
opportunity
small
not only
technical
for the
issue that we had.
for the Egyptian market as
I
well.
would
We are
like
working
to give a
closely
floor
with
to our previous
our
speaker.
neighbors
He can
like
finish his
in North
speech, Mr.
Africa,
Bassem.
in
Please.
Morocco,
Thank you, Mr.
Continue.
Alexi.
as well in Tunis. As at our company as well, we have a Russian company based in Moscow. Last few points, just we are working for a few experts. As I said previously, in the Egyptian market as well, there is Middle East as well, like in North Africa and in Africa. We are working closely with we have our neighbors projects, and North is going in Kenya as well, in some others in Sudan. So our connection is going in Africa more. As well as I can see that there is a big opportunity in the free zone, the Russian free zone that we have it here in Egypt. It can be a very good opportunity for the producers to have a hub nearby in the Middle East, which is can save in the logistic parts, which is very important part that producers should be considered in their calculation and the risk as well. If we are dealing with the area of the Middle East, you will have your hub there. It can be like for production, it can be for a stock holding. It will save time as well, and time and money is both of them is equal to the same needs that we needed for the penetrating of the market. As it for the certifications, when we talk about it briefly, like the issues in Egypt, we don't have that much of complication, but it have also different categories. It depends on the product itself, what we will be need to import, and we will provide you the certification needed. Some of the product you can just conduct the certifications that you have it from Russia already. We will just translate it, legalize, and then do the legalization for it, and then submit it here in Egypt. So there could be some of them. Some other cases it will be needed a testing and analyze here, and this is also we will provide as in for the producers, as well as the last, the halal certificate. This is for the meat and poultries only anyway, so we will need to focus with it if it's needed. And hopefully that we will meet everyone soon in Egypt in the new pavilion, and it will be a good year for the Russian product in Egypt, inshallah. And thank you. You can have the word, Mr. Alexi. Thank you so much.
господин Баксин, большое спасибо. Я уверен, что
Thank you very much.
руководители нашей российские компании в вашем лице, в лице вашей компании нашли надежного партнера на рынке Египта.
I'm sure that our companies can find a very reliable partner in Egypt, and we will keep in touch with you. Next, I would like to provide the floor to our next speaker from Egypt, Mr. Rami Al-Khater, who is head for the business development of the company Aramex Group. Mr. Rami, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Rami, and Business Development Manager for Aramex Group. We will need to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves. We are a unique distributor products company working with over 320 projects worldwide. It's our pleasure today to be in the conference to participate into such as the international business opportunity sponsored by Russian Export Center. We are seeking today to be one of the best distributor products food in Egypt by our integration of the Russian food products in Egypt. Our company have import license, and we have a large market share with our network. Our background to enter the market is started from the higher level of market study, such as global market research, regional analysis one, and advanced market research with the target segmentation. With the specific target segmentation and the competition analysis, we always like requesting from our strategic partners. It's like specifying our requirement to penetrate the market with the high level of attracting and promoting the services as well. The certification and such as the requirement from the government is something always required as sequence. We always do it when we export or import our trade like products, and we always like facilitate this requirement from strategic partners and other segmentation that we can find to support us on this one. Our experience, our network, we have such as a unique networking and communication channels with for the products, clients, and hypers, and we will be able to with our integration to facilitate the products, oil seeds, and all the halal certification products that can be enter the market. We connected with the unique deals in the market with the but we will need to qualify the deals that we find it to be in the competition that required with the medium price and high quality. And we are interesting to talk about the large market share in Egypt with the total population up to 100 million. So the consumption of the products will be very highly, and the opportunity in the market was existed. We will invest from our networking and our companies, our partners, and timing and everything to facilitate all the requirement to penetrate the market with the high level of intention. We have a strategic partner in Egypt, E8. This is one of the unique company. They will support with a lot of resources that can be delivered as a marketing services required. And we designing the process model and all the requirement of this business opportunity to let us engage with the high level of penetration of the market. And one of the barrier that it's detected when we are starting discussing about this opportunity is the language barrier. But thanks for the VP of Russian Export Center that he already explained that this kind of barrier will not be existed, and there is always facilitation by the translation required for the next step. Thank you, and if anyone have any question.
Thanks a lot. I'm sure that there will be questions, and I also propose to leave the questions to the end of our event so that our speakers have the time to speak, and then we'll have a quick Q&A session. And next is I would like to provide the floor to two speakers, Asiyat Magometova, who is the commercial director of the company Hansen Messe Speed Expo, and Ekaterina Lemina, who is the general director from the company Tamush Consult. Asiyat and Ekaterina, the floor is yours. Good day, dear participants of this conference. Now, because we don't have much time, we probably will speak very shortly about the peculiarities of the delivery or shipment of cargo under contract and for exhibition into the Middle East countries. So Ekaterina will speak about the contracted delivery of goods. Now, dear colleagues, thanks a lot for this possibility to cover the peculiarities of the logistical solutions during the delivery of the goods to the Middle Orient countries. We will start, to speak, we'll try to speak within this limited time. If a client needs to ship bigger cargo, which is very quickly perishable and expensive, so usually we select air transportation. Usually we use passenger air transportation if the cargo is not suitable for passenger transportation. For example, if it is big sized, big dimensions, or if it is heavy one, or maybe it has some hazardous class during which it's not possible to use the passenger transportation, then we use cargo transportation through air transportation. Air transport is a quite fast transportation if you need to and usually it takes from 2 to 7 days. Increasing these periods has been conditioned due to the new requirements, due to the epidemics, and not always there is a direct flights. Sometimes you have to use a transit flights. And I would like to speak more in details about the delivery of goods, of agricultural products, of using sea transportation, maritime transportation. Currently, this is the most demanded mode of transportation because container transportation provides a wide range of opportunities in using the containers that have various characteristics. You can use like 20 or 40 feet containers. You can use high cubes, and when tuning and delivery of goods with a special temperature regime, it's also use special containers which provide not only frosting but also negative temperature from -5 to -30. And during this delivery, we cooperate with a company that provide thermal sensors, and at each stage of the delivery, we can monitor the temperature changes if it is necessary for the customer. And also, we use special containers like open top containers for bulk cargos, for bulk loads. And currently, the pandemic has imposed a lot of restrictions on container transportation. The tariffs have increased considerably, and currently it is not clear whether when the tariffs are going to be reduced, and what is going to be the change in the tariffs. And also very often, unfortunately, clients prefer the cargoes that come from large Pacific ports of Europe or Atlantic ports of Europe and the USA. And our port is in Novorossiysk. It is experiencing a lack of containers with the capacity or with the dimensions necessary to send the cargoes. If there is a contract that is signed for a year or bigger time, then very often they look for containers for provision to the clients. They have to look for this type of containers. And also in Middle Orient countries, we often use a railroad transportation. So international corridor south and north has been organized. We also use this corridor a lot with a number of countries of the Middle East, such as Turkey and Iran. We use automobile transportation as well, and they have become quite competitive in their cost as compared to the container transportation. And according to the requirements of the customer, we verify the characteristics according to the time, to the peculiarities of the cargo, to the possibility of transportation by vehicle. If everything is stable, then there is a discount provided, and we usually propose to use the automobile transportation. Now, the floor is yours, Asiat. Now, the difference between this sending the cargoes under a contract or exhibition samples for some events which are organized in the Middle East countries, the difference in the routes are not there. There are no differences in the routes. You can use the transportation by air, or you can use by maritime transportation, but usually for exhibitions and for events, we use the air transportation mostly, in most cases, because this is faster and this is more reliable. As for the transit periods, deadlines, as Ekaterina already said, the air transportation, it takes us 6 to 7 days maximum. And in case if we speak about the shipment of small cargoes, because there are some exhibits for exhibitions that are not very big. They can be sent by air, but it may take too much. It can be very costly. So therefore, we recommend to prepare the exhibits beforehand so that you can send it by maritime routes as soon as possible, because many exporters who would like to participate in an exhibition and who are planning to send a huge, cargoes, then they do not have very good understanding of what is going to be the deadlines. The minimum for the transit time from port to port, considering all the customs formalities, you should take at least 1 month, let alone, just for the preparation, for verification of documents, etc. So that you have to take into account as well. As for the customs modes, customs regimes, when there is a exhibition logistics, when you're sending cargoes for exhibition, they mostly use special regimes such as temporary import and export. If the exhibit is sent for demonstration and then it should be re-exported back to the Russian Federation territory, this is a special customs mode, export 23. And when during sending the agricultural products, export 10 regime is used. This is to say, this is a final export, and also Carnet ACAM could be used. Carnet ATA is possible to use only for the countries which are participants of this system Carnet ATA. Now, as for the process itself, the process of the customs procedures and search for brokers, agents, etc. For beginner companies who would like to enter the Middle East countries and who would like to start exporting, it is possible to find brokers. It's better if they find brokers, so logistics operators. It is possible to find in Russia, to find such brokers. It could be a Russian company, but only on the condition that a Russian broker, the logistics operator, has a branched agency all over the world. It is much more comfortable when you just give it into one hand everything. When a company exporter gives everything away into one hand of one company, not to break the process among different subcontractors. For example, you just give away your order to logistics operator in Russia who has ties with agents and brokers in the Middle East countries. So this is the most convenient way. So I think now timing is up. The time is up. So this was a short description. If you have any questions, we will be happy to answer to them. More in details, we can provide our consultations and tell you when, if you talk to us directly, to the agency. Thank you for your attention. Asiyat and Yekaterina, thanks a lot to you. I'm sure that our participants will have a lot of questions. Once again, I would like to say all the questions that you are asking and we'll be asking and writing in the chat and separately. All these tasks, all these questions are gathered by the organizers, by the Russian Export Center, and will be answered individually. And we will also be happy to answer all those questions and help you. Next is I would like to provide the floor to two final speakers. It's a big pleasure to hear some real stories, success stories about the experience that our companies acquired and who are already supplying their products. Next is, this is the General Director of Prof Export, Mr. Pavel Danilov. Good day, good day. I would like to thank for this unique opportunity to tell about myself and to provide some information. Possibly it will be useful or helpful for some people. In the beginning, I would like to say, now everybody is wondering how to enter international markets. To come to this goal as close as possible, you need to do a lot of work. You know, if you look at our example of the exports of rice to Jordan, I'd like to tell you about some points that should be, you know, possibly helpful for you. In my opinion, the first stage before entering the international markets, this is collection and analysis of the information about the customs regulation, in particular customs fees, duties when importing your country to when you're importing your products to different countries. So different duties in different countries. Therefore, even if the pricing is very competitive, but the custom duty can be very high, and just only because this product is coming from Russia. And finally, the product is going to be more expensive than among the competitors. In some countries, there are some minimal duties. As for example, Turkey. There is another point that should be taken into account, such as the export of raw materials. The custom duties for raw materials is sometimes much lower than for the processed goods. If you take wheat, for example, for it, the customs fees is going to be lower than for final bread. So many countries, they buy the raw materials from Russia, and then they sell the processed goods. And with these type of prices, it's difficult to compete because you are bringing not the raw materials, but the final product, which has a higher duty coming from Russia. But everything is individual. Everything depends on the country and the nature of the product. Now, speaking about the document, here everything is also very specific and individual. If you take the example of the supply of rice to Jordan, we provide a standard package of documents such as phytosanitary certification, invoices, packing list, certification of quality, a certificate of weight, a certificate of no GMO certificate, etc. So these are just like usual certificates like anywhere. But if you also look at the supplies of the peas and buckwheat to Israel, you know, just in addition to the documents that confirm the quality of the products, you also have to provide the documents that security or the safety of the products. So, and when you speak about some more complex goods, there you also have to provide special documents which should comply with the certificate requirements, certification requirements of European countries. So, in summary, we could say that the exporter should be ready to obtain documents, and this will be a costly part, an expensive part. So the more the exporter flexible, the more potential clients that exporter may have in other countries. Now, as for the goods themselves, speaking about them, here is this type of issue. In Middle East, the goods or the products, they have a different outlook than we are usually accustomed to see on our shelves. If you take, for example, the sunflower seed oil, it has a package of 1.5, 3, or 5 liters, and it also has a handle. Usually it has a handle. The bottle has a handle. Now, speaking about our supplies, if you take rice in Jordan to Jordan, then because rice is the main garnish for food, and it's mostly used in Middle East countries, in particular in Jordan, it's very widely used. Then the package there is also different from what we are accustomed to. It has 5 to 10 kilograms, 5 or 10 kilograms packages. Well, I agree that possibly we can find this type of packaging, but this will mostly be wholesale stores rather than retail shops that we visit every day. In our case, we work together with our client and developed a special design for the packaging. We developed this type of design. We translated it into English and Arabic languages, and we introduced the changes that, according to the client, correspond to the demands of the end consumer of this region. And I'm drawing your attention to the fact that if you're flexible in this part. And if you provide the client the possibility to adapt your packaging to the client needs, then this is going to be a great advantage for your cooperation. A great advantage. Also, a communication with the clients in the Middle East countries is a topic to discuss. I never saw any special things that would make this region different in their work from other regions. There are no some special points that would create inconveniences, or on the contrary would facilitate things. No, these type of very special points. So if you had or you didn't have experience with the Middle Orient, some people say that in Middle Orient everything goes quite slowly in coordination and signing the contracts, but we have a different experience. We have an experience of working with Asian countries and other countries, so there is no special portrait that would describe Middle Orient countries. The only thing that we faced, this is mostly refers to all regions. The entry to the Mid-Orient countries is mostly Dubai, especially due to the pandemics. If the contracts could be concluded online, but in some cases you have to be present there in person. For example, we developed a special design. Then you had to provide those samples of the packaging and samples of the goods, so that they could conduct special independent research in order to see what are the parameters of rice, etc. In our case, Dubai was such kind of a gate, special magic wand, because we used this place, this site, in order to conduct the negotiations, to discuss the design of the packagings, and to provide the samples of the products. So the entry point is Dubai. And besides, in Dubai, there are many companies, not only from Middle Orient countries, but also from Africa, who have their offices and representation offices. Or they could also have authorized agents. So you have to look at this region if you work with it. Then you have to have it, if you do not work in there, but at least you need to have some company who is partnering with you to resolve some of your tasks. So we have been dealing with that for quite a long time, and we see that after 2014, after the changes in our national currencies, our goods became very interesting for the whole world. And through the Russian Export Center, we get the tools that are so necessary for us, and we can have more and more people who get acquainted with our goods. I was trying to be as short as possible. I see that I went beyond the time.
Thank you very much. It was very nice to hear such nice words about Dubai. We're going to our last speaker, General Director of IMEX, Alexey Gavrilov. After that, we will have a couple of minutes for questions and answers session. So, Alexey, please, the floor is yours. Alexey, we can't hear you. Please switch on your microphone. Can you hear me now? Yes. Good afternoon, dear colleagues and friends. I'm talking to you directly from the field, as I can say. I'm in an Arabic Emirates, and it just happened that I'm here with one business mission, but at the same time, I'm in negotiations with my future partners, which I've contacted on the Gulf Food event. I would like to thank Rex company, which premises I use in Arabic Emirates and where I exhibit my food products. I would like to tell you something to inspire exporters to work here, and I would also like to ask you for some assistance. Our company is an exporter. We export chocolate pastes from Russia. We are working in Russia for more than 20 years. and we started exporting it in 2015, exporting our products to CIS countries, and now we're expanding our markets. We work in China already, and now, because of a pandemic, of course, all exporters experienced various difficulties. However, we found some advantages because, for example, European factories were closed for some time, but ours were not, and we managed to increase our export by 40%, our production by 40%, because we worked with our partners with Kazakhstan, and it helped us very much. So we've got the Exporters Award in our region in St. Petersburg. We're very thankful to the Russian Export Support Center for that. We're working in this Middle East region, starting from working with the Russian Export Center and participating in the exhibition in St. Petersburg, crop food exhibition in St. Petersburg, where we saw that our product is interesting for the Middle East region. And when we came back from this exhibition, we applied for participating in Gulf Food exhibition with Russian Export Center co-financing, and that helped us to start working in that market. I would like to note that the Russian government is paying close attention to our exhibition. I would like to thank Deputy Minister Revin, who was participating in negotiations between Russian representatives and potential buyers in the Middle East that helped to raise negotiations on a higher level, and Russian distribution chains were very interested in such negotiations. So I thank Mr. Deputy very much. After Gulf Food exhibition, we saw that our product is very interested to various countries. And as well, I would like to add that Dubai is an exhibition itself for many countries in the region, including African countries. The purchase managers are coming to Dubai from other regions, and they see Dubai as a larger showroom. So if your product is presented in Emirates, then it has a chance to advance throughout the whole region. I would like to share my experience. Just 20 minutes ago, I finished my negotiations with a company from Bahrain. We've reached a preliminary agreement. We formed a strategy on approaching Bahrain market. I think this will be my exclusive partner in Bahrain. And I'd like to note that the main issues, main challenges which Russian exporters face is that Russia, let's be honest, we can't sell our products. We manufacture beautiful products. Our production is very competitive. And so the mission of our company is to improve the attractability of our products, to increase awareness about Russia and business with Russia all over the world. So the main issue, main challenge of exporters, which is known to all Russian local companies which try to negotiate with Russians, is the communications. First of all, your employees should know at least English language. This is a must. Otherwise, you will lose opportunities. This is an issue for many foreign partners. Another challenge is adaptation. You need to adapt your product, your packaging to local market. Emirate market is very competitive. We Russians are very much behind. And in order to take any positions in Emirates, we need to be very flexible and adapt our product, our packaging very well. Never say no, never reject anything, and do whatever that the distributor requires. I know it is quite difficult. I know it is complicated to change the packaging and the recipe, but it's a must. It is really required in this region. Another important thing is that I would like to contact Russian Expert Center and tell them once again that we need to send our samples consolidated to the food house. sometimes it's very difficult to send us samples to Dubai and to Emirates, and it's quite complicated. It will be much better if it can be done centralized, in a centralized manner. Of course, there are some difficulties and complications, but I would like to tell that this is very essential. I would also like to request the Russian Expert Center. I want to say that the success is driven not by the number of contracts, but by the volume of suppliers. It is very important, especially for small business, that we need some support, not only before, but also after concluding the contract. For example, you can help us in financing or self-financing in our efforts on contacting the distribution chains and on promotions. I know that Moscow Support Center has such program, and in St. Petersburg, we also need it, as well as in other cities. I know that you have this program in mind. It started in May, and it will be financed, and it will be very convenient for all of us, even if it will be co-financing. Dear colleagues, I would like to wish you success in your business mission and success in all regards. I would like to advise you to try to participate in the national project, to use all the opportunities, to use any ways of getting government support for exporters. Please don't be afraid. Take your samples, go to all exhibitions, to all functions, show your product, and I can tell you that without showing your samples directly, without explaining your product and understanding the mentality, you need to be in person, in the field. That's a must for success. So please, thank you. Thank you very much, Alexei. It was very nice to hear your kind words. We have just a few minutes for a Q&A session. I would like to extend your idea, and I have a question about the packaging. As it was told, we have a lot of questions regarding packages. One of the question is certification, which should be taken very seriously. A second question is packaging and adapting your product to the local market. We have a lot of situations where, despite getting formal permission to use stickers here, our Russian companies are trying to supply product with packages on Russian language. Of course, by the law, it is allowed, and you can put a sticker on top of the Russian text. Legally, it is okay, but in reality, nobody will take this product if the product is not self-explanatory. And it was a very topical issue before, now not so much, but still it is very important. So I support Alexei in everything he said about activities, about languages. Luckily, the borders with Emirates are open. Emirates are conducting shows. It's one of the few countries which are conducting shows actively. And we are also starting Expert 2020 event. That's a global event. And in this large event, which will last for 6 months, we'll have 1 week for food products, and we are inviting you to participate in it. I'd like to ask one question, the same question regarding packaging, to our representative from Egypt, Mr. Rani and Mr. Basma. Please tell us briefly, what are the main requirements for packaging in Egypt, about the language on the packaging, about the label. I know it's a large question, but if you can answer shortly, I would really appreciate it. And the same question I would like to ask to our representative from Turkey. Thank you. Rami, if you are with us.
Нет, то тогда господин Басом, пожалуйста.
If you are not with us, then Mr. Bassam maybe can answer.
Hello again. Thank you, Mr. Alexei. And regarding the packaging, the requirement is similar to the UAE. It's not very far. It's all in the Middle East. It's not very far. But as I spoke also before with the producers, when we are talking, for example, our in-process product that we're working with, a fruit banana in the Egyptian market, I'm giving a live example that we're working. We have managed to speak regarding the packaging from the beginning, to conduct the English part, to be honest, to adapt with the local market. And the labeling is very important with the Arabic language, as usual, as like in Emirates, any imported, you know, like I know that you have to have the label on it. And we managed actually to have the translation on it, to have it in English and Arabic in the background, which can be accepted. And restriction regarding the dimension of the packaging itself, it's not restricted there. So that's briefly, but I will be sending for you, sure, the entire requirements for the packing, if you would like. So we can share the experience here between the Emirates and Egypt, as we are in the same area and the field. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me, Mr. Alexei, or not?
Да, господин Басом, спасибо.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to ask the same question to Ilkay, if she is still online. We can...
Sorry, I'm online. Can I take the question again, please?
Конечно, Илькай. Да, вопрос сейчас...
So the question is about packaging. Two Russian companies need to pay close attention to the packaging of their products. Of course, there are some formal requirements for stickers. We can use stickers according to the regulations, but maybe it's best to provide a full translation. Maybe there are additional requirements. So maybe you can share some experience and comment. And how do you see, what do you recommend regarding packages?
Okay. It's actually about the original packaging. If original package, I mean the Russian package, fits into Turkish regulation, if there is no word stating some other stuff, then you can put a sticker, and this is the cheaper way for Turkish markets. But the main important thing is, in my presentation, I mentioned that there is a pre-approval stage in Turkey. The main important thing is the packaging to be approved by Turkish government before importing. So if they approve the package, the design and everything, then you can import it without any problem. So the things I can suggest is to be sure about the product being in accordance with Turkish law, and you can study with a Turkish custom agency, or there are companies that are also just working with labeling. Just they can guide you how to use a correct label on Turkish markets. And the companies like me, we have a regulation department. That's why we can guide you to use the correct label.
Okay, спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. And the last question, which I want to ask, many people asked it before. This question is related to the online trade. We understand that the future is in online trade development, online platforms, online shops. And I'd like to address our partners from Turkey, from Egypt. Can they comment what are the online platforms in your country? And what would you recommend? Which online platforms would you recommend for Russian companies? And maybe you can give some comment if you have some successful experience in working with them. So please, if you can answer this question, I'll appreciate. Okay.
I can answer you. Okay. About online business, I can suggest is Trendyol, because it's like and Hepsiburada, because these platforms are like a more free platform, and you can open marketplace there, so you can directly be a seller on these places. But these platforms are also working like retailers. They have high margins, so your product choice should be very important here. It should be like a basic needs product and easy to consume product, like chips, like ready to cook meals. These are the many important SKUs going well in online business, online food business. As I said, for frozen goods, it's very difficult because they don't have enough capacity. Turkey doesn't have enough capacity for the frozen goods. It's not always fresh foods and dry foods. What can I say is also Getiri is also important, because it brings you the required product, brings the customer required product in 10 minutes. So I think like beverages, quick cooking bakeries, these can be some options for could be usable for the market.
Спасибо, Илькай. Коллеги, на этом мы завершаем сегодняшнее мероприятие.
Thank you very much, Ilkay. On this, we will complete our event. I would like to thank everybody. I would like to thank our speakers, our colleagues from Turkey as well, from Egypt. Thank you very much, everybody. We are sure that the event was very useful to you, and that I would like to propose Russian companies to contact our organizers to get more answers on your questions. So thank you very much to all the speakers, to all the attendants. Have a good day, and I'm confident we'll meet you again in the future. Thank you very much. Goodbye.